to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucious, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience.
Yes, sir.
We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to another fun week of Athletics LLC. We are season 2, rocking and rolling, playing our little games here and helping all of you gain a little information, little edutainment, as I've been told we are. So let's get started with another fun episode of this cool, enticing tile group that we call Athletics LLC. So Clyde, how are you doing this evening, sir?
It's been a busy day, but I am good.
I heard it was hot and her up in California today.
Was
Well, that's what I was told.
it's a beautiful day, 70 degrees.
Oh yeah, see, that's hot. That's hot for the Midwest.
we got the big meat on the horizon. I'm chilling.
Love it. Sir Lucious,
Good evening.
how are you today, sir?
I'm doing outstanding, actually.
Good. Yeah, but
Had a good
wasn't
day.
the air a little bit lighter today?
Pardon me?
Was the air a little bit lighter today? I felt that today.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Last but not least, Lamar. Just
Sort
playing
of
Lamar
nonsense.
tonight. What?
I'm just playing Lamar.
Playing like a PB&J. Gotcha.
Hey, don't hate on PB&J. That is absolutely an iconic sandwich.
Absolutely.
I mean, PB&J
And because I can do the Uncrustables every day.
every day.
Every single day. In a pinch, if they got some, I'm all over it. Yep.
Yeah,
An Uncrustable, though?
absolutely. And let me just say this for the record. If you take a grape Uncrustable and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, it may be the greatest meal you've ever had.
The worst part is I knew you were going to say a grape one specifically.
Well, see, I'm all about the grape, but this microwave stuff, I don't know what that's about.
Oh,
A
try it.
stomach ache. That's
Just try
what
it one
it
time.
is.
Just try it one time. It'll change your life.
Anyhow,
Yes.
now that everybody knows
Anywho.
our favorite meat snack when we're running by the snack bin. If you're ever going to have a hospitality tent again, make sure you've got grape jelly Uncrustables, please.
Back.
Right. Let's go ahead. We're going to jump in the deep end. Track is back. What do we got? What are we floating with tonight, gentlemen?
Well,
There was so much from this weekend.
I'll let one of you guys go first this week.
Look, I'm happy to go first because I'm sure the things that I want to make sure I get out are not anything that anybody's even going to have on their radar because they are very personal to me. I need to make sure that last weekend in Orlando, Florida, Dana Boone at UCF had a young lady named Rainiah Jones run 12:73 in 100-meter hurdles. Dana Boone is a very underestimated coach, and I didn't know who Rainiah Jones was. That's not a name that anybody was really, really checking for. They need to be checking for her now. That is an amazing performance.
She's a freshman.
School record, as I'm pretty sure she broke the school record of one of my former high school athletes, Jacqueline Coward. Like, that performance is phenomenal. And so whatever, like, Dana is down there, she's causing a lot of noise. She's making a lot of things happen. And I'm very, very proud to see Dana doing her thing. So props to coach, props to Miss Jones. I'm going to be watching that young lady moving forward for the rest of the season. She is very interesting, currently sitting number 3 on the NCAA outdoor list. And then the other one that for me, very personal and just fantastic to see. I couldn't be prouder. My man, Richie Bean at Alabama State, currently, I want to make sure I get this right, currently has the number 12 performance in the women's 800, 2:03.71 out of Alabama State by Michelet Lewis. Again, Richie been taking talent and developing it for 20 years and never gets the respect that he is due. That young lady right there, she was on the roster at the same time I was exiting in the, Alabama State to come out to Berkeley. I don't know what Richie got going on down there, but he does this all the time. And that young lady running 2:03 on April 24th in Orlando, that is amazing. And all I want to see is her bust through and be an All-American in 2021. So that's where I'm starting for track is back. Last weekend, there's a lot of stuff going on, but those two things right there stood out and caught all my attention last weekend.
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to Dana because I don't know people paid attention, but you know, Candace McGrone started at another school, went to Oklahoma.
Yes.
Year and a half later, she's the NCAA champ.
Yes.
Turned pro, and she's never run as fast since. So, Dana's, you know, that's my birthday twin. So, you know, it's all speaks for itself. What can I say? But I want to go even further south. And there's always this speculation whether it was wind dated or not wind dated, but Fred Curley ran 991. And yeah, all of that. And then Natasha Morrison, 1087.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, it's not so easy to make the Jamaican sprint team all of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah, you know,
right.
So I'm gonna start right there. And then we're talking about people doing a great coaching job. Whatever's in the water in Baton Rouge, Louisiana right now. I mean, Dennis Shaver and his crew and his coaching staff are absolutely crushing it. You know, Noah Williams, 44.30. My man Squirrel, 49.12 in the 400 hurdles. And there was God, it's just lost her name, and it's because she's a Florida girl. She's gonna kill me when she sees me. 11:02. Miss Simone Mason. You know, it's just this pick an event. You know,
I mean, we're dropping 19.8 like
yeah,
it's
like
normal.
I mean, like I think I'll just and then we don't run through the line. We haven't run through the line yet.
Wow.
So
No.
yeah, so
I mean,
you know he's gonna go
why
faster.
would
He hasn't run through the line yet. So you know, but I mean it's kudos.
Alumni Gold was a great meet, but this one, I said Alumni Gold's all.
Sorry about that, everyone. A little technical difficulty with the Wi-Fi and the online interneters. So we'll resume.
The internet people got you.
They did. I got. Sir Lucious, you were about to start talking about hurdling.
Oh yeah, we just back to the Alumni Gold meet, and you know, there's a new player in the hurdles. Robert Dunning from Alabama upset the LSU crew, and the question is, when's the last time at the collegiate level we had three guys at sub 13:30 in the same year?
Never.
Yeah. It's probably been never, yeah.
And then you know what, we got lost in translation there on the women's side of the hurdles. I said, you know, Tara Davis has returned to the hurdles, 12:61. Tonia Marshall, 12:53. Like, Alumni Gold was just kind of ridiculous this weekend. It was. And I know we're not going. I'm gonna get the mark wrong. Mr. Harrison.
Don't you dare!
Don't you do it? Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Lamar. Go ahead.
Before he starts, I have to correct you. Her name's pronounced Tara. So
Tara.
that's a big thing.
Davis, my bad.
Yes.
Now
so.
we're gonna let Lamar pontificate about Mr. Harrison, but I'd like to point out. Didn't want to pick him indoors.
I mean, you just love to go backwards. As I said, once we got past indoors, I will never pick against him again. You couldn't get me to. Before I get to Mr. Harrison, all I wanted to say about Track is Back, right? Rather than some other great performance, I would just say this, like, if folks stay healthy, we could have an NCAA meet with like sub 10, sub 20, dare I say sub 44, sub 11, sub 22, sub 50, and whatever a thing mode decides to actually run in the 8. Like, do I think all those things are going to happen? The only reason why I would say no is just because like the statistical probability is not great enough. But can the marks actually happen at the national meet? Absolutely.
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm really disappointed you didn't mention the hurdles, but go ahead.
I didn't think I was the last one to talk. So unlike Clyde, I'm not trying to steal everybody's thunder. Okay. So I'll just leave it at this, right? Javon Harrison does whatever he wants to do right now. Like, long jumpers need adrenaline, usually, right? That's the whole reason we got rhythmic clapping and all this other stuff, right? Javon Harrison doesn't need anything. He doesn't need any external stimuli whatsoever. The man jumped 844 because he felt like it, right? And like, here real soon, he's probably gonna jump like 235 because he can. And at the end of the day, like, I'm not picking Javon Harrison to win the Olympic gold medal. Like, we're way far from that. But here's what I'll say. I would not want to be in gold medal position and Javon Harrison still had a jump to take, because he seems to be able to, as Lucious and I used to always say about certain athletes, press a button. So it's like whatever he needs, like, scoop, you know, and it's, look, it's his, look, as a guy who was a jumper and a combined eventer, obviously, but it's fun to watch when guys or females, because let's be clear, Tara Davis is on another planet right now too, but when jumpers have full control of their abilities, it's fun to watch, right? Like, I'm just rooting for everybody else to jump far. Like, I'm rooting for everybody else to PR, to stimulate this cat, to see him like jump 870 in college. Because there's nobody who would take a bet with me if I said that I thought he could do it. Nobody would bet against him.
We need Mr. Grimes to get back on again.
We do. We need
to see all that. Yeah.
A bunch of times. A bunch of times.
And then we had a couple of little professional meets at Drake and then out at the Cathedral.
Yes, I have seen the Cathedral in person. Yes, aptly named. Who came up with that?
And now you can die in peace, right?
No. I got things to accomplish in that building, but
I'm not saying like today, but like, you know, and that's off your bucket list now, so you don't have to worry about it.
It's definitely off the bucket list, and it's even better than advertised. It just is.
You know, I will say that the performance that stuck out to me from Drake was the women's hurdles. Obviously, Kenny crashing was
scary.
Not too scary. But Ms. Clemens and Ms. Semper. Ms. Semper is on fire, and she is closing the last 4 hurdles like we haven't seen. Like, so that's the dawn type of stuff, you know.
But you know what's funny? I'm glad you brought that up, because when she was in college, she did that stuff. She was a closer in college. She's had a low, she had some injuries and all that other stuff, but she was like that in college. The start's always been her issue, but the start's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's gonna close like that, it did look like vintage Dawn Harper. That's exactly what it looked like.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a great comp.
Yes.
Who was in the race, but just not.
Yeah, she was, props to Don.
Yeah, she's getting back into it. And Camacho Quinn out in Oregon decided I'll just drop 1240 this weekend. So 1240 something this weekend. Great. And I'll be honest with you, some of the races didn't meet the hype that was expected. The men's 100 in Oregon, as much hype as they put behind it, was very, don't get Ramel curb stomped him, but it wasn't like he did something, like 1001. 1001's really not that sexy. You know what I'm saying? It's okay.
You know what it was? It was interesting. Okay, so yeah, you're right. It didn't live up to the hype, but Ramel did his part. It's the others that didn't bring it with him.
Well, look, okay. The 100 at the Tom Jones meet was better than that.
Yeah, it was.
It's much better than that. The 100 in Miramar was better. So
yeah. I don't know, the pro meet side of Oregon this weekend, it felt like what it ultimately was a rust buster with some money attached to it, right? Like that's just kind of the vibe of it and how it felt. And there were some ridiculous performances. I mean, look, props, Lance's crew was on fire out there. I mean, Shawnee just out there playing around with the 49 O's and, but I got to tell you, it didn't look difficult. It didn't look difficult. Lena Irby's back there at 50-0. And if Shawnee's not on track, you're like, oh my God, Lena Irby opened up 50 flat. Like, no, nobody even paid that any mind. Like, there were some things that popped out, but ultimately it just felt like a pro rust buster, especially in the shorter disciplines.
See, I'm not sure why we're calling it a rust buster when it's most of their second, third, or fourth meet.
I said that's what it felt like.
Oh, okay.
That's what it felt like.
So then basically you're saying they underperformed. Don't give them excuses. See, I'm disappointed in you because you're the ultimate guy who likes to call people out now.
I mean, I didn't
call them out. Call them
honestly, out. What would I call out from that meet?
I don't know, but if
men's 400,
it was overhyped, that's what I would call out.
So Lamar just threw out the men's 400. If you want to look at the mark, like the time, and say, oh, that was kind of a disappointing run, I get that. That's cool. Yeah. I get that. I thought the race itself was really intriguing because coming off the 300-meter turn, Rye was coming for Mike like he was going to win the race. And so
and nobody on the planet thought he was going to win.
No, but he did. Like he came off that like, I'm going to go get it.
And nobody on this planet thought he was running by Mike. Nobody.
Look.
I will agree with you that I will call that a rust buster if you want to call it, because that was their opener. So right. I'm going to give them that.
But honestly, my biggest disappointment of the pro group, I thought Noah Lyles was going to be. I thought that was going to be a race. I thought I was going to see a battle. I don't care if it was 10-0 and 10-0 or 9-8 and 9-8. I thought I was going to see a race, and it just wasn't a race. It wasn't close at all. So. That's 200s. That's back-to-back 100-meter performances where the world is waiting for Noah to kind of step into that zone and, who's going to be the 100-meter guy. Now, back when I'm like, hey, don't sleep on Trayvon, a lot of people, some on this panel, told me that I was tripping. I mean, who's stepping into that circle? Like, it looks like it's Trayvon and he's waiting on everybody.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to stand on the top of my house and say this. 10:01 ain't fast. Stop it.
Again, the time doesn't matter.
Stop it. Oh, it does. Dominating the field. It does. Okay, the field was weak. Other than Noah, who underperformed somebody in the race. It was, yes, it was. When you run a race and run 10:01 and you dominate the field, the race was weak.
Okay, listen, on principle, I agree with you.
Not on principle, on fact.
No, I agree with you. Let's start. Wait. We're going to get off topic, but that's okay. Wait a minute.
That's right. Look, I love Trayvon. Don't get me wrong. But we got to stop this. 10:01's not fast.
Christian's out. So
he is. There's no doubt about that.
Who is going to take the mantle for the men's 100-meter dash in America? Justin is Justin. We get that. We all respect Gat. We know he's going to be there in the end. But when the conversation has been Christian, and Noah, that's been the conversation. That's been the thing. And when Christian was out, everybody's like, well, I guess we're going to watch this 1-2 double from Noah. Really? Maybe it happens, but right now, I don't know.
I'm still riding with Ronnie Baker. Have been from day one.
Okay. That's cool.
Has he opened up yet?
He's run 994 already.
Okay.
And that's not fast, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, no one is in there like, hey, this is my
look, I am not pretending to say that there's somebody that's dominant in the men's 100, but I'm also not ready to act like 1001 is fast.
1001 is not fast, but Trayvon has dominated his fields when he wanted to this year thus far. I don't care what the time is.
Wasn't that his 100-meter opener?
Sprints, 60, 100s, like Trayvon, when he wants to run, it's his race. I'm just,
So, there was a guy that ran 48-1 in the 400 hurdles this weekend. I don't even know his name. I apologize, but he looked good doing it. that
was amazing.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know who he was, but he ran fast.
He's not American. And the thing is, like, Kenny Selman has run 48.8 like 3 times in a row.
Yes, he has.
And a little bird tells me that he's training with one Mr. Nat Page in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So kudos to Matt. And also, I'm just bad with names tonight. My man Joey down there is doing a phenomenal job with Fred Curley, Joey Scott.
Okay, so that's who he's with. Okay.
Yeah, incredible job.
I mean, listen, anyone who's seen Fred in person or even on camera, Fred's body looks different. Mm-hmm. Just looks different.
He's leaner.
When he opened up at that ridiculous time in the 400, look, you never just like lock a guy in for something, but I'm just going to say it. Like, if there isn't the COVID snafu or whatever, Fred runs a second race and God forbid a third race indoors, I firmly would have bet money on him breaking the indoor world record in the 4 because he looked that good in the first race.
Well, he did look that good. And so to my point, right? Like, you still got to step out there and put the performances together when it matters and win and all of that. But there are 2 things related to Fred Curley going on right now that you can, if you pay attention to the sport, you can tangibly say is different than it's ever been for Fred Curley. He's a hell of a lot leaner than he ever has been.
He's a hell of a lot faster.
And he's a hell of a lot faster. He ain't never been that kind of sprint fast. He just hasn't. So is that going to translate to something spectacular? We hope in the 400. You would think so. But he looks different, and it's a very positive, in the right direction difference. So, we're all very, very much anticipating what the hell Fred Curley got coming.
I mean, doesn't Fred Curley have the fastest U.S. 100 so far this year?
Mm-hmm. If that one was that marked win legal, I don't know.
They said it was win legal.
Okay, I saw the video and I heard a hurricane, but I didn't see the results.
The 48-1 time, I believe, if I'm looking at the right stat, is Allison Dos Santos. Does that sound about right? Was it written at Drake?
Brazil?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like 48-16 or 48-18, something like that.
1-5.
1-5.
Hey, you know what was dope this weekend? A lot of people, it's usually pen relays weekend, and that gets all the pub, right? I thought personally, and I don't even know what the marks were, but I saw the videos of the meet, and it was cool to see. North Carolina A&T and Houston going to Drake to race was cool, and they put up some good relay times up there. Like, I like seeing stuff like that. Teams that normally wouldn't be where they are, going to a new venue, putting down some marks, making it exciting. I did that. At my former schools. Like, I thought that was cool to see, and I'm sure the audience, however big or small it was in Drake, appreciated seeing those 2 programs out there battling it out and stuff. Like, that was dope.
And we also have to give a shout out to Miss Blessing for going under 10, under 11 seconds out in Oregon as well, making it look real easy.
Look good. Blessing looks smooth.
Yeah.
And look, everybody knows if Blessing is right, Blessing's a problem. She's too big. Her stride length is too, like, she's so efficient when she's right. So
Let's call it what it is. Blessing's got to show up when it counts. She's yet to show up when it counts.
Facts.
Sure.
Got to show up at the big one. And I'm not saying that she won't, but that's another one of those limbs I'm not walking out on.
But you know how it is. If you look at Blessing's career, there's been moments where she's been a threat to win gold, and then moments where it's like, oh, Blessing ran this year, like, you know, whatever. Like, she looks good. Like, she looks really good.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to highlight?
I'm sure we missed all kind of.
I know there's probably a whole chunk. Everybody's in their chairs right now on the edge, like, how dare they?
Well, you got something for us, Jim? You got something?
I don't know. No. I was engulfed in my little world this weekend. I haven't even watched the recordings of anything from this weekend. So you all were my first take on them. So
Well, I mean, I think there's also, geez, the Rayvon Gray jumped 26.10, and nobody knows, right? I think he's number 2 at jumper in the NCAA. Put 844 out there, and it just kind of gets lost, right?
Well, that's Javon's fault. But okay, so
I mean, like, seriously, who's going to know what the second furthest women's long jump is this year, right? Because we saw Tara Davis's jump, and at the end of the day, we know ain't nobody jumping that far. So
I think is it Jasmine Moore right now? Or
I'm looking
something
right.
like that?
I think so, but
I
I'm
think
gonna
so.
you know what?
But, I mean,
I got some other things. I got some other things deserving of some attention, and I can't believe we missed it. We did the Alumni Gold March, but we missed maybe the most interesting news. Tamara Clark ran 10.96.
Yes, she did.
That's a hell of a development.
Yeah.
That's very,
See,
very interesting.
we're still talking about that tree limb you want to walk out on.
Hey,
She might have something to say about that.
No doubt. And honestly, like, everybody is well aware of Kimba Nelson now because of, you know, her miraculous, you know, her stuff indoors. But Kimba Nelson stepped out this weekend and raced the pros in the Oregon meet and held her own. She didn't PR in the final or whatever. I think technically her PR was from the race before.
Yeah, she won her heat. Yeah.
But yeah, she won her heat 11:08, and in the final, she didn't win it, but she was in the mix. Like, she looked like she belonged on that line with those young ladies. And anybody knows the first time you really get in one of those races, like, you learn a lot about yourself and learn a lot about, you know, your kind of characters. I was impressed with her. I thought she did a hell of a job in that race.
Yeah, Miss Clark,
we named this segment
Coach Wiley and our good friend Ms. Jetter are doing a phenomenal job with her.
Jed. Props to Jed. Micaiah Harris, Texas, 2008, Alumni Gold. Like, Baton Rouge was the place to be this weekend, apparently.
It was. They were on fire. They were on fire.
I mean, we named this segment Track is Back, and the truth of the matter is just like, track is producing at a better rate than any other sport in the NCAA this year, right? Like, something championship level happens every week.
Yeah,
every week.
And look, honestly, that's a really good point. And I it's just another one of those examples of us not getting the respect that we deserve. No one is going to pretend, even the most rabid SEC football fan is not going to sit here and pretend that this year's college football season was awesome.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. They might, maybe they shouldn't, but they will. Especially if it's an Alabama football fan, they think it was incredible.
Whatever. Right. Basketball was interesting, not awesome. Somehow, some way, right now, and it keeps holding week after week after week. It keeps holding. We are
every week.
We are in the middle of the best NCAA track season ever. Full stop.
And let's just be honest, it's really not that close.
No, it's not close at all.
It
It's
has
not
to
close at all.
it has to finish itself off, right? Because you always
Right.
get the championship have to be off the chain. But let's be honest, right? In every other year, the championship is the best meet of the year. Is anybody else besides me afraid of what's going to happen in the championship? If this is what the regular season looks like, what does the championship look like?
Don't be scared. Don't be afraid.
I'm not scared. I'm here for it.
Don't be scared, little girl.
I'm trying to make sure I have another ticket
Hey,
through the
don't
cathedral.
be scared. He's not gonna take your cornbread. Don't be scared.
Ain't nobody gonna take my cornbread.
Oh Lord.
Oh, man.
All right.
I'm here for it. Everybody get your limited tickets while you can, because it's gonna be a hell of a show.
You know, I'm a fan of bold predictions, and I'm just going to say this. If the weather holds up and everybody stays healthy, the NCAA outdoor meet may have a greater quality rating by ways of marks than the Olympics.
Wow.
First place may not be better in every event, but 1 through 8, the way it looks right now, 1 through 8 is going to be better.
Yeah, and there's a few events that
Very
haven't
popular.
taken flight yet, but they're going too soon. So
Mhm.
that's true.
Shake it up.
Let's change lanes a little bit and give your perspectives on something. Do the mixed relays belong in the major championships, so world championships or Olympics? Second part to that, could these races be used to move towards transgender athletes' involvement in our sport? I'm sorry. So 2-part question.
I want to speak to part 1. I think that there's an expression in TV, like when a show has kind of run its course and they start doing things like that are outlandish just to get people to watch. It's called jumping the shark. It's in reference to a Happy Days episode where they had Fonzie jump the shark. I feel like dual gender relays is exactly that. Like, track is amazing the way it is. Adding dual gender relays to me is an unnecessary jumping of the shark. The show does not, like, the 3-ring circus doesn't need a 4th ring. And that's just me. I don't think this is the purist in me speaking, because I'm a fan of advancements, right? We talked about changing the hurdle height. Like, I'm a fan of those kind of things. I don't think in any way, shape, or form that the dual gender relays are advancing the sport.
I totally agree. Don't think it's a good idea. Never thought it was a good idea. I think that, you know, we talk about on this show and in a lot of other forums about track and field gaining respect and people taking us more seriously. Then let's not turn track and field into a circus. Let's not do that. You know, like we are, like I said, we're the purest form, head to head, man to man, woman versus woman. Let's line up and do that. But when you do that, like there's just something not right about watching Michael Norman run a woman down when she's got a 40-meter lead. Not Michael Norman, Michael Thierry from 40 meters back. There's just something not right about that. And I just don't think it's a good idea.
Let's be honest about this. It's a gimmick. It's an attention-seeking gimmick. It's a cheap way to let people feel like they got a medal, you know, but because there's money tied to it, at least at the world championship level, it's probably here to stay. Should it be? No, I think it's whack. I'd much rather watch a legit shuttle hurdle relay, you know, 4 guys, 4 girls. Add that to the Olympic program. Add that to the world championship program. I don't like the 4x2, but I'd much rather watch the 4x2 than the mixed gender 4x4. At the end of the day,
I want to stick this in there with what you just said. if there was going to be a mixed gender relay, the mixed gender shuttle hurdle relay would be tolerable.
I mean, they've run that. They, you know, that's on the World Relay Program, I think it was. You know, I just look. I don't like gimmicks. I'm with Lamar. Like there's plenty of things that we can change to advance the sport. It's just a BS gimmick, and I don't have a lot of respect for it. You know, but I mean, look at what's already happened. We're already tracking world records in the mixed gender 4x4. We're already and this is probably the most clearest example. Allison Felix's career is undefinable, just great. There's nothing wrong with Allison Felix's career. The medal that made her the most decorated ever officially was a mixed gender relay. Like, that's unbecoming of the career that put a cherry on it. I don't want Allison's last medal to be that medal. Like that's not cool. So, you know, I don't like it, but it's not going away. It's really not. Now, the second part of the question, does the creation of the mixed gender relays potentially open up space for transgender athletes to compete? Maybe it does. I don't think that it should one way or the other. I don't actually consider the creation of the mixed gender relays a tying in to the transgender issue that's ultimately going on. A lot of people are, you know, afraid of this particular topic, and I get it. It's a very sensitive topic. It's hard for some people to be respectful when discussing, you know, said topic. My thing is this: there's nothing wrong with creating a third lane. Create the third lane, and let the transgender community, you know, go at it. Do what you do. Compete. I'm not against competition. I'm all for it. You can do it that way, or you can look at it the other way, which for me, you know, I'm very close to transgender people. Some of them are in my family. My issue is this: gender is a social issue. It's not a scientific one. And if athlete X wants to compete and there is no third lane for them, I think we have to rely on biology for them to be allowed to compete. And I don't think that that's disrespectful, and I don't think that that is preventing them from living the life that they feel that they need to live for their own, you know, personal well-being. I don't see that. Transgender people compete with, you know, non-transgender people in academia. They compete with them in the workforce. They compete with them in every aspect of life. So sport is supposed to be about fair play, and there's nothing fair about asking a biological woman to have to line up and compete with a biological male. It's just not fair. And so I think we should find a way to create the third lane and let those who are transgender compete for every medal available in that lane. Or if that's not feasible, line up and compete as biology defined it. That's how I see it. And I think if fair play is the goal, that's the only fair way to do it.
I think that may be the best laid out point you've made on this show. Like I've had a lot of thoughts about this topic. I don't think I could have said it any better than that. Like that was for my money, I would say anyway, that was pretty much perfect.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Like it's an emotional issue for so many people, and I think a lot of the conversation gets lost in disrespect. Like people or get so emotional on one side or the other, they don't know how to like come at it respectfully and have, you know, a straight up combo. Like, and there'll be people that don't agree with what I said, and that's cool. But just know it comes from a place of respect. I want everybody to have opportunities, and I want sport to be conducted fairly.
I don't have much to say about it. You know me, I'm all about picking a side. And if you're male, you compete with the males. If you're female, you keep with the females. And if you're transgender, like you said, create a third lane. Give them, I don't think they should be excluded from the sport or any sport for that matter. But again, you know, in the sense of fair play, it's not fair for them to compete against women. That's just, it's not right.
All right. Wow. Well covered. Well covered. Good job.
I was gonna say, nobody can ever say that we're scared.
Nope. Well, they can say it.
Yeah.
It'd be wrong.
He's on fire
All right.
tonight. He's on fire tonight.
Switching lanes, getting us back in a safe space. Will the development of sub 10 guys like Michael Norman and Fred Curley running the 400-meter race finally take the event below 43 seconds?
That's an interesting question.
Well, I'll jump in there and I'll say, I think the evolution of the event was I mean, what the world record is 43.0, right? So simple thought was the evolution of the event was going to take it into 42 seconds. But I'll say I'll bite. I think that the key to running 42 seconds was definitely more speed and not more fitness. So I believe that Michael Norman and Fred Curley tapping into sub 10 genetics and training gives us the best chance of seeing 42 seconds. And one of the reasons I think why is because it's obvious there's going to be competition in that realm, right? Like the guy that's run 43.0 is back. And now you got two guys that have run 43 who've also now run 991 and 87.
86,
What
86, I think.
So, you know, like it's, I won't say like it's definitively going to happen, but I mean, let's be honest. I think at this point, if you take the folks that you would think are going to face the starter in the 400, it will, if you were going to prognosticate, you would think it might take 42 to win. And the easiest way to ever break a barrier is like what is required to win, right? It's way easier to, it's like, okay, I got to beat those three dudes to win a gold medal. And like what it takes is what it takes. That's easier to conceptualize than I got to run 42.98 to win. And because I think there's going to be company in the 43 low range, I guess my simple answer is, yeah, I think that the speed development of quarter milers is part of the key to taking the race under 43 seconds.
My take on it is real simple. If you're training to run sub 43 and it leads you to run sub 10, it's a good thing. But if you're training to run sub 10, it's not going to lead to running sub 43. I think that's the biggest fallacy right there. Like, I got to get fast. Well, I'm of the belief that if you're getting fast in your effort to run and train for the 400 to run sub 43, and it leads you to run sub 10. But if you're all just worried about running sub 10 and you don't take care of the things that are going to lead you to sub 43, not going to happen. There's too many energy systems involved. There's too much strategy involved. The 100 and 400 are just totally different races. There's nothing similar to them at all. So do I think that running sub 10 will help you get to sub 43? Absolutely. But I think that there's a lot of other work that needs to be done around that. A lot of work.
I think the combination of those two comments is perfect, to borrow the compliment from the previous segment. A 400-meter runner who is physically capable of running sub 10 is sexy and it's interesting, but I don't think it's nearly as important as the ability to run sub 20.
Absolutely.
If you can't run sub 20, you damn sure ain't running 42. So, coaches, whoever, take that for what it's worth. So I think people are paying too much attention to the sub 10 stuff because it's the sexier race and we're always obsessed with 100-meter times and it's cool. But the sub 20 is way more important. And I could not agree more with what Lucious just said. How you get there matters. So what you're focused on matters. And, to reiterate what Lamar said, like, big breakthroughs and unbelievable stuff happens when someone shows you a path to it. Wade Van Niekerk just missing 42 in Rio. Everybody pretty much, agrees that Michael Johnson's the GOAT at 400, right? And it's like, hey, if that dude didn't get close to 42, no one's doing it. And then Wade drops 43.0, and everybody's like, oh, so I guess 42 is really a thing, right? It's like Bolt running 19:19. It's like, oh, so maybe somebody really could run 18. But nobody thinking about that before Bolt got down to that place. And so it's like, when someone shows you what's possible, then everybody starts rethinking and reimagining what the end could be. So now there's probably 10 dudes that believe they can run 42. Fred Curley was just crazy enough to put it in print first. Okay. So, he been talking phase 42 for like 4 years. Okay. At some point, we all like to see it, but how you get there absolutely matters. So do I think someone can run 42? Yeah. Do I think that Fred is necessarily the person to do it? Maybe not. Do I think Mike's necessarily the person to do it? Maybe not. For me, the dude who is closest to running 42 is the dude who ran 43.0. So, I'm waiting to see the comeback of Van Niekerk before anything else. And, how low you get in the 200 is way more important. So that's where I'm at with it.
I smile when you all comment on this, and it's of the same concept, of the same principle and whatnot, because there are at least 100 coaches who are like, well, I guess I have to rewrite next week's workout, because they all were working on that sub 10 workout. And that's not the answer. So remember what your objective is. The objective is the objective. You have to stay true to that. So great insight, great takes on that. So thank you. Next question. We can take that hat off, put on a new one. Why do we think that our sport does such a terrible, in all caps, job honoring or at least keeping our former greats involved in the sport? Pure speculation, pure personal thoughts, but they are true, and I think we all have you all have different insight into that. What are your thoughts on that? Why can't we keep, or why don't we keep the formers a little more closer to home?
I'd like clarity on keep them in the sport. Well, how are we even defining that?
So as per conversations that we've had loosely off recording, I imagine it to be like just honoring them in regards to keeping them related to the sport. Right? Like,
I'm going to jump in here. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not sure. Obviously, it's a terrible job done, right? But then again, I'm not sure how you do it, because it's not like there aren't coaching jobs you can give them. They're not. I don't know. So I don't have an answer. I know that there is a Hall of Fame with USATF. People are honored there. I'm not sure what the process is of getting into that Hall of Fame. It's not like the NFL or the Major League Baseball or some of those things where, hey, so-and-so is a great player. Let's give him a job in our organization. Like, we don't have those organizations. So I'm not sure how to get that done. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done. I just honestly don't know how you do it. So.
Well, do you want me to go?
You were stuttering, so go ahead.
I'm referring to my notes.
We can see the drool on the side of your mouth.
Wow. Okay, so as my colleagues have loosely alluded to, this is definitely a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And so I'll say this. You mentioned the NFL, and it's funny that you did because they do the best job, right? If you are a young running back that comes into the NFL, like, you will still shake in your boots when you finally get to meet Jim Brown, right? But I've been on a U.S. junior staff where the sprinter on the team, who was from Houston, asked the sprint coach of the junior team, Leroy Burrell, "Coach, did you do track?" I mean, I know you did track, but what events did you do? I looked at Leroy and I said, I'm going to leave because I can't right now with that. And is that a ridiculous example? A true example, yes. A ridiculous example, yes. But the point is still very well taken. One of the things that made the USA Visa Decathlon group special is we reincorporated at the time the 7 living US gold medalists in the decathlon into what we did, into the developmental programming of what we did. And why is it relevant? Because a really big part of like what happens in your future is understanding and learning from your past, right? Like, there's no disrespect to Bolt, and when I say this, but at the end of the day, like, Carl Lewis was the cheat code, right? Like, if there was money in the sport when Carl was running, like there was when Bolt was running, he probably would have run a lot faster because he wouldn't have been trying to break the world record by little tiny increments. Also, the only reason there is money in the sport the way there is at all is because of Carl Lewis, because him and the Santa Monica group demanded that they be treated professionally. I think it's nuts that Jackie's not part of our US championships in some way, shape, or form every year. Even if it was just to hand out awards, even if it was just to be honored, right? And Gail and Carl, I'm glad that we have Carl back as a coach, right? But there are people who walk by Carl every day who just think he's the sprint coach at Houston, who have no idea who he is. And Edwin Moses, and I mean, y'all know how I know the sport, so like the list is forever ongoing in my head of the number of great, not good, not sort of kind of good, but great, like iconic, damn near like Mount Rushmore type track and field athletes that our sport, and particularly in this country, because we are so obsessed with winning right now, like we do such, what do they call it? Recency bias, that we just chew people up and spit them out, right? It was awesome that you were here, but now that you're, okay, great example, Ashton Eaton. Listen, my man is in witness protection, basically. Right? Like, Ashton Eaton is not a household name, and he should be, because he's one of the best track and field athletes that the United States has ever produced. Like, homeboy literally didn't lose as a professional in his discipline. And like, we barely even have a link to him in the sport. And that's crazy to me. That is crazy to me.
Lamar, you will be happy to know that at the Cathedral, one of the booths that you get food from is named Ashton's Eatin'.
Ouch, that hurts.
Oh.
No, listen, that's all of that is very true and very, very well said. It's funny that Lucious brought up the other sports, because hearing the question, I'm like, well, what do the other sports do? They have a Hall of Fame. I know we have one.
We don't make a big deal about it at all.
Yeah, I don't know who's in it, and we damn sure don't publicize it
Like at all.
Like most people would probably be shocked if, like, you just assume that we have one. You don't know for real that we have one. Like,
well, we have two.
Right. Well, the Coaches Association does a better job at promoting that one than the
I
athletes.
think we have the USATF Hall of Fame.
So it's like, you know, we could definitely do better with that. To the point, like, we don't have teams, and I don't think we should just be handing. I don't think we should do the professional nepotism of just handing greats jobs. I'm not with that. Because just because you can run and throw and jump don't mean you can coach. So you know, I'm not with that. But yeah, I mean, annually at the USA Championships, aka Olympic trials every 4 years, yeah, we should roll out the red carpet for, you know,
all of them.
All of them. Like, if you got a medal and you ain't competing no more, roll them on out and find a way to get them involved in something. I guarantee you, you know, make them one of the officials for the jumps or something. Like, they can't do, you know, they'll do fine, right? Like,
they don't have to do anything other than be famous. But my point is this, right? Jim Brown, pick an NFL Hall of Famer. That person has never paid to go to an NFL football game since they were done playing.
No, right, nor should they. I'm just like your example.
Carl Lewis is only going to go to the trials for free because he has a credential.
Right.
Jackie,
and that's
Gail, myself, Ashton, we all have to buy a ticket. That's insanity.
But that's part of the issue, right? Like, we are incredibly cheap across the board. Let's be clear about this, because let's not just put it on our sport, and the expectations of our sport are incredibly cheap. Fans don't want to pay. We got it. It's West Coast rivalry weekend out here. If we told in the middle of COVID, if we said, "Hey y'all, the vaccines are rolling out. Anybody can come to the big meet versus Stanford that you want, but you got to pay $2." Half the people that want to come wouldn't come. They got to pay $2. So the fact, part of the reason that they don't do this is it costs money to fly in all the record holders and all the medalists. They don't want to pay for it. They cheat, and that's a ridiculous answer, but it's true. They don't want to spend the money to make these people infamous. They don't.
You realize that the fact that you believe that, or that's true, either one, that's the thing that is causing us to absolutely like piss on and burn our living history is insanity.
It is insanity, but you know it's true. It costs money. They don't want to do it. Because literally, from an American's perspective, when would the other time of year be that you could do that? It's only at USA's. You know, I mean, you could pick a hot meet, like, okay, the alumni gold is happening, so let's roll out all the Louisiana Olympians and bring them in for that, right? But who's paying for that? LSU would have to pay for that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Florida relays, I'm sure Lucious could have all the prior Floridian Olympians, the UF Olympians come through and do their thing. And I've seen some of that. And he's probably happy to pay for it. But, you know, like that's the only, like those are the opportunities
Can
like
I-
that are rare.
Can I refute that? It is funny that you use Florida relays. It's like I didn't bait you into this, but this was perfect. One of the best parts about Florida relays, and I'm not a Florida alum, let's be clear, right? Is if you know what's going on at Florida relays, on the backstretch, right by the door to go into the locker room, there's a small bleacher. And pretty much at Florida relays, if you're not a Florida alum, you don't hang out over there, right? That it like become like the de facto Florida alum area. I mean, Mouse made an official one and he put up like a big tent in the stands and they had a Florida alum area. And you know where everybody still ended up? On the bleachers right by the line.
That's right.
Right? What I'm telling you is this. The US track and field greats don't even feel wanted at the meet. If you created a bleacher section for all US Olympic medalists to come and all be together, share stories, and watch US championships together, without paying for them to come, a great number of them would come. But they don't even come because they don't feel wanted. When you retire from track, when you retire from track, USA Track and Field forgets that you exist.
Hell, they try to forget you exist before you retire.
And that's what I want to get to. Like, that's the crux of the issue to me, is that you don't even feel as if what you did has value once it's done. People talk about you in great fervor, like, oh, you were an Olympic medalist, right? But the people who know nothing about track think that you get far more respected than you are.
Right. And so this is my issue. I am accusing the powers that be of disrespect because they don't want to pay to respect you properly. That's my accusation. It's an expense that they don't want to deal with. Or they just don't like it.
I think it's more disrespectful than that. I think it's more disrespectful than that. Like, they literally act like they don't really care that you exist or that they want you around. Sir Lucious, what's your thoughts?
You have to repeat whatever you just said because
Yeah.
you went interpreted and no one understood.
You went
I-
straight
I'm
Megatron.
sorry. I'm sorry. I think it's worse than the disrespect of not wanting to pay for you to be there. I don't think that post-career Olympians and post-career medalists feel wanted to be at the meet. I think most post-career medalists feel like that's something I did. Nobody cares that I did it, so I'm gonna go on to whatever else is going on in my life.
Well, as I said before, I hear you. I don't know how you fix it. I mean, like, I don't have an answer for that. I don't think anybody does. I think, obviously maybe it is a money issue. I don't know. Or maybe it's just an issue that they don't want to spend the money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does it not sound to you like Lamar feels it's more sinister than that?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that he feels it is sinister. I don't know if that's the right word, but I just think that, he just wants him and his people to be more respected. I just think that I don't know what the avenue is to make that happen. I don't. I know the things that I've done here to make our alumni feel appreciated and feel wanted here. But that's going to take somebody to step up at USA Track and Field and say, look, we got to do a better job. But as long as they don't think it needs to be done, because let's be honest, I think that the focus is on the current crop.
Yeah.
Because if USA Track and Field thought that there was a market value for the alumni, for the gold medalists, for the greats of the sport, I think they would find the avenue to make it happen. That's those are my thoughts. I don't. You baffled me with this one, and not that you're wrong. I got no answer for you.
But I think we've come up with an answer. If they're alive, annually, roll out the red carpet for them at USA's, pay for them to get there, put them in a hotel, block them off a section at the meet, and put them in the meet. Make everybody aware of them. Start there. That's an easy thing to do. And then see where it grows from there. I mean, just like in any other sport, if you want to know how to better respect your past greats, talk to them and ask. Like, you know, but short of that, there's not a lot of opportunities because of the way our sport works to do it. So at the annual championship should be the place that can be done. And there's more than enough time in the meet program, and there's more than enough space in the stadiums. So, you know, just do it. I believe that the reason it's not done is literally dollars and cents, laziness. We don't want to pay for it. I hope that's what it is, because anything past that is a level of disrespect that I can't even fathom or imagine. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it at all.
I will challenge USATF to this. If they block off rooms with a room rate, provide a credential and a hospitality area where they can all congregate, a great number of living U.S. track and field medalists will come to the U.S. championships. They will pay to get themselves there. They will pay for a hotel. You should probably have a dinner. And since everybody's about money, right? If you had a dinner, if you had a gala with all of the living U.S. medalists that would attend, and you sold tickets, I'm pretty sure you'd make enough money to have flown all those people in and or put them in a hotel room. Because we all know Eugene will pay for anything track and field.
There you go. We have offered a solution.
They ain't got to pay for me. I'll show up. I just need an invite.
But they should.
I would like a credential.
Got it. Well, I'm sure somebody has the ability to pass this link on to those eyes who need to see and those ears who need to hear what we just said, what you all just said. So, as if we weren't having fun already, let's have a little more fun, right? So, Mr. Clyde, you comfy in that chair of yours?
Oh, it's that time? All right.
It's about that time, sir.
Go ahead. I'm ready. I'm good.
All right. What's better, a Gamecock or a Bruin?
Gamecocks. Oh,
I had to start off with an easy one for you. I had to warm you up. Not name something better than a breed.
No, hold on. Let's be clear about this. Not only is the Gamecocks better, don't get it twisted. The Bruins is just a retread of the original, which is the Golden Bear. The whole UC system is just a following of what we started at Berkeley. Their colors are the same. Their animals are the same. They just following us. It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
The fight song is the same. The pentameter of it is slightly different, but the song is the same.
I don't even know what word you just said.
Never gonna outdo the original.
Pentameter, is that what we just said?
I did.
All you music majors, help us out. I don't even know. Cadence?
Hey, listen, that's educational trivia. Think I'm lying. People, the whole UC system, colors are all the same from the original. Go ahead.
Well, they're not all the same, but close enough.
You know, sniping off from there, you know.
Straight from the Bay. Name something better than a burrito out of the Mission.
A burrito out of Oakland.
Oh, no. Oh, moving on. We'll skip that. We'll go ahead and let you omit that question. Oh, no. Can't
I
even
clutched
take
the pearls on you. Like, oh no.
A burrito from the lake. What you mean?
No. Have you ever got on the wrong train at the MacArthur transfer station?
Oh, everybody in the Bay has.
I was gonna say, you a liar if you say no.
We've all made that mistake consciously and asleep. We've all made that error. End up on the wrong direction.
Wrong
Like,
platform, wrong
direction. How did that happen? Everybody's done that.
True story. I ended up in Richmond like that. I was going home from San Francisco State. I was going to work at Foot Locker in Walnut Creek, and I opened my eyes and I was in Richmond. I was like, this is the wrong mall. I am not in the right place.
You most definitely should have noticed that before that moment. But yeah.
Seriously.
Immediately.
Have you ever personally fallen in a hurdle race?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay, hold on. Not stammered. Fallen.
Hit the ground. Yeah. You're not a
Okay.
real hurdler unless you bit the pavement once or twice. Like, you got to do that. Listen, if you are not willing to go there, you're never going to maximize your ability. You have to be willing to eat the turf in order to find out how good you could really be. Everybody great has tumbled to the ground.
I just had to have you say those words. That's all I needed you to do. Have you ever walked across the Golden Gate Bridge?
Hell no. No. Listen, I've enjoyed the Golden Gate from the city side and from, the
Sausalito.
other county line side, from the Sausalito side. It's beautiful on all sides. I've enjoyed it from the Baker Beach. I've enjoyed it from up top the hill. I'm not walking across that thing. I'm not a distance runner. No, sir. No, ma'am. I'm good. It's cold out there. There's no reason for me to take a nature walk across the Golden Gate. That is for tourists. That is for people who fly in here. Nah, I'm good. I've literally taken tourists to the foot of it and be like, I'm gonna holler at y'all when you get back. I'm gonna go down and get some drinks or something. Nah, I'm good.
I'll drive to the other side and pick you up. Oh
I
my
did
God.
that once too.
Exactly.
Literally did that before.
Exactly.
Definitely did that before.
I've done that.
Stop it. Okay.
Definitely.
I've done that.
All right. Last three questions. Your favorite female athlete of all time? Any sport.
I mean, if I'm being honest, it's Tiana Bartoletto. It's just true.
I mean, yes. Corn dogs. Do you eat them on the stick or off the stick?
With mustard.
Okay, I'll take it. Yes. Last question. I'm not even gonna go. What are your five go-to? Yeah. What are your five go-to lotto numbers?
I've never played the lotto a day in my life, and I damn sure am not going to start anytime soon. Listen, I learned this a long time ago. The lotto ain't for us. I'm gonna leave it there.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Clyde, you're all done, sir. You're all done.
Am I though? Because I think the new tradition is I gotta take questions from these
Oh,
guys.
that's right. I'm forgetting. Gentlemen, two
Well,
off the
I
cuff.
have one prepared. So
Okay.
in the spirit of ridiculous Bay Area love that is on this show, if you were going to put just one thing from the Bay Area in a time capsule, what would it be?
One.
So 100 years from now, they open the time capsule, and this is going to be Bay Area-ish. What is it?
E40 and all that encompasses the man.
I love that answer.
do that, and you have covered so many, so
Very
many.
true. Very true. Sir Lucious, what you got,
So you're
sir?
getting ready for your first big meet.
Yeah.
What event are you most looking forward to?
Man, look, looking forward to, more like nervous about, probably the women's 200. I'm a track nerd, you know, in every sense of the manner. It looks like the women's 200 is going to make or break the meet on the women's side. I got some ideas that I've thrown into the fray, got some surprises, and I think if my young ladies handle their business, we might be able to shut the door early, which would be nice. So women's 200.
So I will definitely make sure I pull up the results link and make sure I tap on the women's 200 when it's time.
So,
Nice.
so Coach Clyde, I will suggest one thing as a Berkeley alum and quite a few time participant in the big meet. Please never forget this. The relays are scored 5-0.
Sir, you know I know this.
I know you know. I know you know. Just never ever forget that the relays are scored 5-0.
Look, Chew, next we have heartbeat props, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm just gonna jump the gun. I'm gonna roll right into my heartbeat props because my heartbeat props is all about the big meet and what we know out here as rivalry weekend out west. Okay, you got USC, UCLA, you got the big meet. My heartbeat props actually go out to everybody involved with the big meet, and oddly enough, the coaching crew at Stanford, who we are like legitimately friends in real life, and all that's cool. But on Sunday, we come in and bust your heads. So no friendship for a few hours. It's gonna be dope. It's a great tradition. I'm really excited to be in it for the first time as a coach. And for all the you have to kind of be from out here. You have to be a West Coast track fan to really understand the gravity of what these specific dual meets mean and their legacy behind them. What I could tell you is this: for all the fans of the meet, on paper, before the 4x4 step on the track, it's supposed to be a 79-79 tie on both genders. That's how crazy it is right now. Okay,
Wow.
that's how crazy it is right now. And luckily, because of the timing of how weird this year has been, both Stanford and Berkeley alumni of the programs are being allowed 100 entrants, of fans, alumni fans, into the meet, which is going to be dope for the kids if we get some real turnout. So if you're in the Bay and you're an alumni of Stanford or Cal, send emails to JJ Clark and or Robin Johnson and get your free passes to the meet, because we want to pack the stadium as COVID appropriate as we can and put on the best show possible. So it's a great weekend. We're excited. It's our first time as a staff. It's their first time as a staff, and the meet couldn't possibly be any closer. So we're going to have some fun on Saturday.
It's the race to 82. 82 points is how many you need to win.
That's right.
Go get them, big fella.
Do what we do, baby.
Nah.
Don't make me break out my 20-peat shirt.
Please don't. Please don't.
But this is just funny. Look, that's how badly we used to beat Stanford. My first year at Cal, we had shirts made that said 20-peat.
I like it. We will reinvent traditions like that when we have earned the right to.
Yes, sir. Let's get one.
Well said.
Right. One person. One.
Oh, Sir Lucious, would you like to go?
Sure. You want me to? I'm gonna give my heartbeat props to a lady that she has this knack of calling me when I need someone to talk to and bounce ideas off of. You know, this goes back to, she was in a horrific accident and she almost lost her life. And I go over to the hotel in Jacksonville and I'm sitting next to her bed and she wakes up and she sees me. And she starts asking me if I'm okay. Starts counseling me on, you know, my new position as a head coach at Florida and how I could get better. And for some reason, before then and since then, she has continued to show up and be a voice of reason for me at times, and be a stern voice I need to point me in the right direction. Had a conversation with her a couple of days ago that was right along those lines. And so I just want to give a big shout out to my big sis, Beverly Kearney, and thank her for always showing up just when I need it. I know you don't watch this, but I'm sure somebody will tell you about it. So.
Nice. I'll go next. I wanted to give some props, some recognition, some love and some breath to all of the coaches out there right now. This is, if not crunch time, getting really close to crunch time. We've seen on social media conference championships firing off, people prepping for prelims, for NCs coming up here in the next whatever time, and then respectively to the divisions themselves, however their nationals are powering off. Here's some breath. Here's some energy. Keep up the good fight. And you know, we're all tired. We're all a little stressed out trying to keep student athletes healthy, keeping ourselves healthy, maintaining home, whatever that looks like, whether it's an animal or just the walls in the building that you sleep in every night. You know, here's to you. You're doing great. Keep going and do what you do, and just do what you can on the day that it matters most.
I think this is the happiest moment I've had since we started doing this segment. My heartbeat props go to Clemson University track and field community. There are a great number of times where the fight you have to fight seems insurmountable, and it is incredibly easy to just shut it down. And I would say, as much as I was hopeful, as much as I think everybody on this panel was hopeful, I don't think any of us would have bet on Clemson men's track being reinstated, just because we've all been through the BS and the rigmarole and all the soft serve answers that are always given about why we can't go backwards on a decision we made. And at the end of the day, we vilified Clemson for making the decision that they made. Rightfully damn so. And the people who it mattered to the most, the young men in the program, the young men who've been in the program, the overall athletics community at Clemson, basically said, damn that, this ain't happening on my watch. And that was met with all kinds of resistance and, you know, double speak and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, one of the most difficult battles ever sought was won. The fact that Clemson men's track and field is reinstated in full, like, I think that's the most important part, right? They didn't decide to keep Clemson men's track and then cut the budget to 6 scholarships. We've seen this before, right? The fact that they are keeping men's track and field at a 12.6 level and all of the other accoutrements that go with it is nothing short of amazing. It is all of those who picked up the pitchfork in that fight are worthy of praise and adulation. And I personally, as somebody who worked there, who have coached, a season of Clemson male alumni, I am very proud of those people, that collective, to have fought for something that actually mattered to them. And I am overjoyed at the fact that for once, like, common sense prevailed and the good guys won, and whatever other cliche you want to stick out there. Because be clear, as I said when this first happened, this was the beginning of open season on men's track and field in this country. And if this battle was not won, there's a great number of athletic directors in this country who would have felt emboldened to try and do the same thing. But given the negative backlash they got, given the legal fights they had to battle, and at the end of the day, given the fact that they lost, I'm pretty sure that no other Power 5 school, fingers crossed, no other Power 5 school is going to go after men's track as a way to cut budgets. And for that, heartbeat props is the least I can give, and a standing ovation. If I stand, I'll be off the camera, so I won't do that, but just understand that I am proverbially standing in adulation for those who fought this fight.
Awesome.
Well said, sir.
Well done, young fella.
I appreciate it, less young fella.
Must be that 51 years of age. It helped you turn the page of knowledge.
Hey,
Well, I'm just proud that we didn't have to go around the block across the street this time. We actually went around the block for a reason. I'm proud of you, though.
Thank you, sir.
I know, right? Well, with that being said, this week, our EP, Lamar, was the guest. I'm sorry, not the host. That's the word I was looking for. The guest on the Gills Connection podcast with Mike Cunningham. And as he pointed out, all of the tiles have now been on the Gills Connections podcast. So if you ever really wonder about us and if we're being characters on the tiles when we record and broadcast every Friday evening, listen to our podcasts, because you'll see the authenticity. You'll hear and maybe see too, if you watch the Zoom part of it or the video part, the authenticity of what we say, what we express, and the things that we try to convey here on our tiles, and then there with Mike Cunningham in our respective shows there too. So shout out to Cunningham for doing what he does. But as always, every week, gentlemen, I appreciate all of your thoughts, your willingness to be vulnerable, to share the thoughts that you have. And let's live another week. Let's do this again, and we'll see each other in a few days. Safe travels to all those who are traveling. Compete well to those who are competing. And other than that, win the day, guys. Win the day.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Bears.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place and we'll peel to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass it, failed, and sell the sad song. And if you don't change, check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.